Welcome to another episode of mine with the best American that I have ever known. She has been with me for a few episodes and is going to help me for with a few more. And I'm really grateful to have her on my show. So, hey, how are you?
I'm wonderful. We just had the Christmas holiday here in America, and my husband and I have spent the day relaxing, and I'm excited to answer some of your questions.
Cool. So, since we only talk about the English language, how we can improve it, how we can, avoid slangs and other grammatical mistakes, right? So, my first question is to you. How you think? I mean, what do you think when you start speaking on a particular topic? How you improve your thought process? You know, people say your communication skills should be on point. I ask them how. They say speak less and make more sense.
I agree with the people you spoke with to speak less and make more sense.
Mhm.
Something I do a lot is I think ahead of what I want to say,
Mhm.
and then I speak.
Mhm.
I pause when I speak.
Mhm.
Sometimes I'll picture the words in my head and
Mhm.
then I'll speak them.
Mhm.
I think it's important to not speak too fast.
Mhm.
I think a lot of times when people speak too fast, they don't know what to say, and
Mhm.
then they use a lot of filler words.
Mhm. Okay. So, what I mean by thought process, some people they have knowledge of grammar, they know tons of words, but when they start speaking, they get stuck. They get, hesitant. How should I speak? My thought process is not clear. Since your native language is only English, for a
Yep.
person like me, right? My first language is Hindi and English is my second language. So when I think in the both languages, Hindi and English. So do you have any drill or something that can help me only think in English?
I don't think you should seek to only think in English. I think you should think in both languages because being bilingual is an incredible asset.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that keeping the grasp of your first language is going to help you further understand English.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that thinking in both languages is the way to go. I don't think you should stop doing that.
Mm-hmm.
I've started learning other languages myself.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not very good at them, but it helps me to think in my own language first and then transpose that to the language that I'm learning to speak.
Yeah, when you speak English, you don't have to think at all. You just speak very smoothly, very easily. Words come to your mind themselves. For us, we have to think for a particular word, which word we should use in this context. So, what do you feel when you speak?
So I actually do a great deal of thinking when I speak. It's just that I've had a lot of practice using all these words,
Mhm.
but I think a lot as I'm speaking.
Mhm.
Being autistic, I don't know if I told you that in my last interview, but I am autistic.
Mhm.
I had to be taught how to speak.
Mhm.
And even now I have to train myself to kind of decode my thoughts
Mhm.
into something that's easy to understand. So although a non-native English speaker probably has to do a lot more thinking
Mhm.
that people can see, people can
Yeah.
tell that you're thinking to the right words.
Yeah. Yeah.
A lot of times native speakers do too, especially if we want to sound grammatically correct.
What I used to think is that practiced a lot speaking the same in the same situation for the same things, so you don't need to think.
But I do need to think.
Yeah.
And I do think it's just a lot of, you can't really tell that I'm doing so much thinking,
Mhm.
but I do a great deal of thinking when I speak. Now, if I'm not trying to be grammatically correct, if
Mhm.
I'm just being casual with my language,
Mhm.
then I'm not thinking as much. But I always want to be careful with my words. I'm always I want to make sure that I sound the best that I can all the time. And because of that, I always do a great deal of thinking before I speak.
The English language is in great demand in India. People who went to US for only once, they come back and they start saying, "Hey, you should learn English from me. I'm the best teacher." I've been to US. I have seen people how they speak. So it is very funny that they say like that. I think you should just feel the language. You should be able to understand how to speak and in different situations, right?
I think so. I agree that when you get to a level of English proficiency or any proficiency in a language,
Mhm.
it becomes more about feeling the language.
Mhm.
Now, when you're wanting to learn how to get around in an area,
Mhm.
it's important to learn the important things, directions, money, foods, learn questions, pleasantries such as hi, how are you, thank you, you're welcome, goodbye,
Mhm.
your numbers, how to read a map in
Mhm.
English. Once you've learned the basic things and can get around in whatever area you're in,
Mhm.
then you can start maybe feeling things out, learning English on more of an intuitive level,
Mhm.
learning how to speak with your heart instead of your brain.
Mhm. Yeah.
Well, if I were going to go to India, which I want to do someday,
Oh.
especially when COVID is over with,
Mhm.
I would learn directions. I would learn like, where is the bathroom?
In
May
Hindi.
I have some water? Thank you. You're welcome.
People understand English. There are so many people who can speak well, write well. I think you do not know. India is the second country in the world which speak more English than United States. After
Really?
United States, it's the second country.
That's pretty awesome. I would still try to learn a little bit of Hindi just out
I
of
would help you.
respect,
I would love to help you with. Don't fear.
but
I'm here.
that's pretty cool though that so many people in India speak English. That would make interactions easier. Because
The reason why we speak English, why a lot of people speak English here is India was colonized by British people,
yep,
British government, a long, long time ago. So
from
they left.
1757 to
Yeah,
1947.
yeah. So the reflection of people is still there. The people then used to talk to the English in English, the only language the English knew, right? So the Indian
Yeah,
people tried to learn the language in order to communicate with them.
that that's kind of awful though that India was colonized for so long. I'm glad that they have their independence.
Yeah. We got the independence a long, long time ago in 1945. So, here is my second question, maybe third.
Okay.
So, do you still feel hesitant or nervous? I mean, not you especially. Do you know some people who still feel hesitant and nervous when going on a stage?
Definitely. Especially if they're in a competition and it's something that they haven't done before,
Mhm.
or if they're in a competition and they're competing against people that have been competing for a long time.
If it is only about English.
Even if it's only about English, yes, definitely. I had a person in my club who competed in table topics for Toastmasters. He had never done table topics before. And in preparing for table topics, he was very nervous about it, because what happens is they give you a question, but you don't know what the question is, and you have 2 minutes to answer it. And you have to talk totally off the cuff and make it up.
Cool. So, do you still think there are things that you cannot talk about in English?
I would say there are things that I know less about.
Mhm.
And so when presented with such topics, I'm not going to be able to talk about them as well in English, simply because I don't know about them.
Let's say if you talk about universe, you talk
Talk about
about
what?
universe.
Oh, the universe.
Yeah,
Well, so I know a little bit about the universe. I know that we're in the Milky Way.
yeah.
I know
If
I know that
somebody
it's
asks you to talk about it in, I mean, so perfectly, would you be able to? Because I
I
can't.
don't if someone asked me to talk about the universe
I can.
perfectly, would I be able to?
Yeah.
I could name a few facts about the universe and I could answer questions, but I wouldn't.
I'm not judging your knowledge of, universe. I'm just talking about the language. Will you be
Oh
able
yeah,
to?
with the language, I could do that, no problem. My limits with talking about such topics are only limited by my knowledge of the topics.
Yeah. So it's with me. I used to believe, why can't I talk about, universe, galaxies, and some difficult topics. No. So then I realized it's not your English, it's lack of knowledge about these topics.
Yes. Once I know more about a topic, I don't have any trouble talking about it.
Mhm. Yeah.
And that's not me bragging. It would be the same with you in Hindi, because you're a native Hindi speaker. If you study a topic well enough, you'll be able to speak about it effortlessly in
Effortlessly.
Hindi. Effortless. I can't say it.
Effortlessly.
Effortlessly
Yeah.
in Hindi. You'll be able to speak perfectly about it. So
When once upon a time, I was just talking. I was talking to a teacher, and he, mispronounced some words. And there was this teacher who said, listening to the teacher I was talking to, "Hey, you mispronounce words. You you should improve yourself before you start even teach, your students." So it happens, right? We are human, and to err is human. We can make mistake, right?
yep,
It's
Eric,
not about
make
it's not about a native speaker. It's not about non-native speaker. It's about it is just that we are humans and we can make mistakes.
mistakes are part of the human condition. You're definitely right about that.
So do you see some native speakers making mistakes?
Yes. One word that is very difficult for people to say is anonymity.
What? Come again?
One word that is very difficult for people to say is anonymity.
Anonymity. Okay, it means
You're doing good.
unknown. Something that is you are unknown. I mean that is unknown, right?
Pretty much, yes. Anonymous.
Anonymous.
Anonymous. That would
Yeah,
be
I
you.
know. I have read this word so many times in newspapers.
Yeah. Yep. That is a word that even people that are twice my age have trouble saying. So
Even in United States.
yes, that trips people up a lot.
Do you think many
And
people also mispronounce words?
yes, and depending on what part of the United States you're in, a word would be could be pronounced very differently.
I can see
Like,
some books, a bookshelf in your background. Do you read those books?
oh, these are videotapes.
Oh, you are fond of
Um,
watching movies.
yes, that's actually a VHS collection that my husband got from his mom.
Mhm.
She gave him that as a gift, so they're collector's items. But
Mhm.
we do love watching movies, and I have a lot of books in various rooms of the house.
Mhm.
And I checked out a lot of books to read this week while I'm in the hospital recovering from surgery.
Mhm.
So that'll be fun.
You know, I was watching a movie named Doctor Strange. Have you seen it?
No, I haven't.
It's an American movie. It's about, superheroes.
Okay.
It's one of the movies of, Marvel Studios. So,
Marvel Studios.
yeah, the main character, the lead hero of the movie was speaking English too fast. So I was able to understand because I'm so, I feel the language. I understand what they want to say. So, like I was talking to you in the very first interview of ours, that sometimes native peoples tend to speak too fast. So,
Yes.
how fast can you speak, and do you also speak fast sometimes? So,
I don't normally speak very fast. Well, let me rephrase that. I speak faster if I'm very excited about something.
mhm. Okay,
Like,
how that would be? Show me. Hey, I just came around. What?
so, oh, we're going to Red Lobster tonight. Oh my God. Oh my God, I'm so excited. This will be great. I can't wait to order a full-size lobster with extra butter and broccoli.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And when you don't, you just don't take a breath and keep speaking one sentence after another. It makes
Pretty much.
non-native speakers, uh, difficult to understand.
Yes.
Yeah,
But I think as you get more knowledgeable of English or you start to feel it more on an emotional level,
Mhm.
when you're speaking with other English speaking folks, if you get excited, you might start talking like that as well.
Mhm. What do you think a non-native speaker should do in order to improve their knowledge of English? Do you think it's reading or listening and watching what it is?
I think it
Most
should be a
effective.
combination. It should be a combination of all those things.
Mhm.
Something that I think would definitely help
Mhm.
is watching English speaking people, like a video of it,
Mhm.
but having captions in Hindi or whatever language they normally speak.
Mhm.
That way they can listen to what the person's saying and
Mhm.
then see the captions on the screen in their own language. I think that would be very helpful.
Okay, what do you think if a person reads literature or a newspaper on daily basis?
If they read
Literature books, I
English,
mean literature
uh-huh.
and newspaper, like Times of India, any newspaper.
So I think
I mean the New York Times.
The New York Times. So I know Google Translate is not always accurate, but I think for something like the New York Times, it's best to start off with Google Translate and maybe translate it into whatever your native language is. But honestly, when learning the language, I wouldn't start off with the New York Times.
Okay, I'm gonna, you know, show you a newspaper. Let's see how you read it, right?
Okay. Do you want me to read out loud?
No, I just want you to read it. Okay. It's up to you. How do you want to read it?
Okay. I'll read it out loud.
Just give me a second. So I'm gonna, you know, I'm gonna show you a newspaper that we have in India, right?
Okay.
So yeah, do you see it? Yeah.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
So the Hindustan Times.
Yeah, it's Hindustan Times. There is a news, a New Delhi, the Delhi government.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm zooming in to, let's go to the front page. You know, this is a lot like our newspapers here in America.
It is.
It
is similar to those that you have in America.
Oh yeah, the way it looks, definitely.
So would you like to read it?
Sure. Let's read about the curfew. So in New Delhi, the Delhi government on Sunday clamped a night curfew beginning Monday that is unlikely to be relaxed before the end of the month, putting in place a ban on non-essential activities, including eating out between 11 p.m. and 5 a.m. as the COVID test positivity rate in the city reached 0.5%.
Please, do you understand everything that was in the first para? What?
Yeah.
Each sentence
the government placed a curfew in effect. People are not allowed to do non-essential activities between 11 p.m. and 5 a.m. because the COVID test positivity rate's risen. It's gone above 0.5% because, you know, they're concerned about the Omicron variant. Now, I don't know, unless people are working overnight, I don't know why they would be eating out.
You know, there are different types of sentences in this newspaper, right? The Delhi government on Saturday clamped. You know the meaning of clamped?
Clamped would mean like, so, okay. In English, clamping would be, so like right now my fingers are clamping the candle.
Yeah.
But in that sentence, clamp would be laying down the law. Yeah,
clamped a night curfew beginning. So beginning is a participle here, since you are aware of the language. Clamped a night curfew beginning Monday, right?
It started on Monday.
Yeah, which it says which will begin, right?
Yep, it's beginning on Monday, or maybe this past Monday. It began this past Monday.
And they are not using on it. They are only using on Monday. Monday, beginning on Monday, right?
Yep, beginning.
They shorten everything.
Yep, I can see that.
Yeah, that is unlikely to be relaxed before the end of the month. Putting in place again ing form. So you know, for beginners, it is very difficult to to be able to understand the newspaper, how they write, what it is. They don't understand it. So do you think the way it is, you speak the same way? I mean, in normal life?
I speak like this, yes. I don't know if everybody that I know that speaks English speaks like this, but I can understand this very well in English.
Mhm. I
I
mean,
thought the word clamped was a little weird to use. I would have used put in place or started, but I could, that's interesting how they use clamped for that. I kind of like that.
yeah. Uh, you know,
I like the picture.
yeah. There is a news about Taliban on. So, do you know what is happening in Afghanistan?
Yes. I mean, I'm not an expert on it, but I do know that because the US withdrew troops from Afghanistan, that the Taliban has taken power, and they have a lot of very strict rules, especially for women.
So here is a news. Here is a piece of news about Afghanistan. Afghanistan's Taliban authorities said Sunday that women seeking to travel anything other than short distances should not be offered transport unless they are accompanied by a close male relative. So how should people, pause when I understand because I'm a teacher. I mean, when there is a comma, we should pause, right? When there is a period, we should pause.
Yes.
So it makes sense. Oh, there is a pause. That is why he's pausing. In speaking, sometimes people forget. They, forget to do intonation, pausing, and everything. How people like us should be able to understand and remember it.
I mean, I think pausing is very important. And like you said, looking for the periods and the commas. Also, looking at the quotes as well, because the quotes mean that those are someone else's words.
Okay, would you like to read it if you don't mind?
Sure, I don't mind a bit. Do you want me
Yeah,
to start at the first
yeah,
paragraph?
yeah, yeah. Please.
Okay. So Afghanistan's Taliban authorities said Sunday that women seeking to travel anything other than short distances should not be offered transport unless they are accompanied by a close male relative. The guidance issued by the Ministry for the Promotion of Virtue and Prevention of Vice also called on all vehicle owners to offer rides only to those women wearing Islamic hijabs. Women traveling for more than 45 miles or 72 kilometers should not be offered a ride if they are not accompanied by a close family member. Ministry spokesman Sadek Akif Muhajir, did I butcher that?
Yeah, yeah. I also don't know how to pronounce these names properly.
So,
Although I could.
so Sadek, that I know
Let's
that's
Sadek
right.
Akif Mujahir.
Akif
Muhajir.
Muhajir. Okay, we'll go with that because that makes sense. Told AFP on Sunday, specifying that it must be a close male relative. The
Okay,
guidance.
that's it. Do you think reading a newspaper like this would help improve pronunciation and speaking?
I think so. Yes, I think what I wish is that the newspaper would have the same article but translated into Hindi or whatever other languages that are common for the region.
Mhm.
I think having the two languages side by side would definitely be helpful for people learning English.
I'm in the habit of reading newspaper every day. I start my day with a cup of tea and newspaper in my hand.
That's awesome.
That helped me improve a lot in the early stage of my career. And I also read literature books. I mean, books about science, history, science, and culture.
I think that's very helpful.
Yeah.
Reading about a variety of different topics.
Yeah, you when I'm talking to you, everything's so easy and so understandable, right? I don't know
Thank
it
you.
is you who makes it or it is the effect of your presence in the meeting. You're
Oh, well,
really
thank you.
kind.
Well, thank you. That's very kind.
So like you said, if we read, it would be helpful in the long run, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So
And
mhm, please.
I think if a newspaper could have more than one language on it,
Mhm.
I think that would be very helpful as
So
well for people to read.
how many newspapers do you have in United States? It is
Oh God.
it's
Um,
it's up to state wise.
well, every city has a newspaper.
Yeah, I mean every city has a newspaper and every city has a mayor. Am I right?
Yes. Well, not every city has a mayor. Like really, really small
You have
towns don't usually have
MPs
a
in
mayor.
your country. You have MPs and MLAs. MPs.
What's an MP?
MP. I mean, it's they are part of presidential community. MPs that they make MPs. You vote for MPs and they vote for I mean presidents. I mean that's
Oh,
how we
prime.
vote.
Are you talking about a prime minister?
Yeah.
Okay, I forget. So we, I think the mayor is kind of what you guys would consider a prime minister. So, for example, in my city, Tulsa being the second largest city in Oklahoma, we have a mayor and a city council of six people. They've divided Tulsa up into 6 regions.
Mhm.
And so we have the 6 different people. Then we have the mayor of Tulsa, and then we have the state governor, who
Mhm.
is governor over the entire state of Oklahoma. And every state in the United States has a governor,
Mhm.
and most every city has a mayor,
Mhm.
and most cities, I would say most cities have a newspaper. In Oklahoma, where I live, the 2 main newspapers are the Tulsa World and the Daily Oklahoman.
So, I mean, there are 50 states in United States in total. So, which is the most beautiful states
The
according to
most
you?
beautiful,
Yeah, most beautiful.
I would say probably the coastal regions.
Utah.
So on the West Coast, you have California, Oregon, and Washington. So
Mm-hmm.
they face the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
Any place that's close to the ocean is going to be very beautiful. Colorado, which is further mainland, has a lot of mountains and great places to ski. It's really beautiful there.
Mm-hmm.
And then up north, you've got a lot of places with waterfalls and a lot of mountains.
Yeah.
So I can't really tell you which one's the most beautiful. Colorado's always a good place to start.
According to you, every place, every state is beautiful. I see many people speaking down the road. He has a house up the road. So, what they actually mean? Exactly
A
mean?
house up a house up the road.
Down the road, I went down the road, so they mean.
So saying I went down the road, that would be I drove somewhere. I went somewhere.
Hmm,
If I'm gonna say down the road from here,
hmm,
okay. So right now I am facing west.
hmm,
I'm going to point this way, okay?
Mm-hmm.
That is south,
Mm-hmm.
okay? So to me, south is down,
Mm-hmm.
and then this direction right here, north,
Mm-hmm.
is up.
Mm-hmm.
Would you like to see my street?
Yeah, sure. I would love to.
Okay,
I mean, see,
let me go out.
you have, different homes from India.
So what?
You have, I really love to see like homes in United States. You have beautiful homes.
Oh, well, thank you. Well, here. So it's nighttime here.
Mm-hmm. It's
So
day
things
here.
are gonna look
It's
a little
10:30
dark.
here.
So this is my street. Here, I'm trying to turn my camera around.
Yeah, I can't see it. Yeah, it's okay.
Okay, so these are the houses across the street.
Yeah.
And this direction that we're facing,
Uh-huh.
that's south. So that's going down the street.
Mm-hmm.
And this is going up the street. So if I say I'm going down the street, I'm going south, which is down. And if I'm going up the street, I'm going north.
Mm-hmm. Very informative. I can hardly see anything. It's very dark.
Sorry, I don't know what happened there. Here, I'll show you what my house looks like if you'd like. Do you want to see what my house looks like?
Yeah, sure. I would love to see it.
Okay. So this is my house.
It's a garage.
Yep, there's the garage. That big red car is my husband's. Mine is a smaller blue car and it's in the shop getting worked on.
You both have cars. Cool.
Yep, that's our front door.
Oh, cool.
And then we have a chimney, we have a tree in our front yard.
Uh-huh.
It's not a very big house,
Uh-huh.
but that's okay because it's just the two of us.
Yeah.
And we don't want a really big house because those take longer to clean.
Yeah. If you have a big house, you have, bigger responsibilities.
Yes. Sorry,
You
my
also
hands
have
got
to
mine.
pay tax for the home.
So what?
You also have to pay tax.
Yes. Oh, and do you have stuff like Boy Scouts in India?
What?
Do you have Boy Scouts?
Yeah, we do. In fact,
So
I was I was one of those. I participate. It's kind of, it's not compulsory. If you wanna, participate in Scout, you can. It's, I think, in every school here.
So that's my husband right there at 13.
Oh, when he was 13. Great.
Yep. He has his Eagle Scout.
Cool.
Which is the highest honor that you can get.
Cool. I'm really lucky to have you. Show me everything, your home, your neighborhood. It is really amazing. I was talking to my student. We call not here. If you have a paper money, you call bills.
Not.
I mean, if you have, there are two types of money: coins and paper money. So, to paper money,
yes,
you call
coins
bills.
and paper money. Yep,
So
we call them bill.
Bill, $500 bill, right?
Well, we don't have too many of those in circulation. You're more likely to see a $100 bill or a $20 bill.
Yeah, you go cash.
Or that, yes.
So I used to, I mean, somebody made me believe when you go to gas station, there is nobody literally. You just do it by yourself. You just, insert your card, debit card or credit card. You just fill it by yourself. Is it?
So sometimes it's like that. There's a lot of stores that have self-checkout stations,
Mhm.
but even with self-checkout stations, there's someone manning the self-checkout stations.
Mhm.
And if you want to buy like beer or cigarettes,
Mhm.
you have to go to a regular cashier to do that.
Yeah, I understand it. Yeah, it makes sense. Makes sense to me. So you have shared so much information today. I'm really thankful to you that you got ready and made some time for this. I'm really thankful. Thank you for your time. That's it for the day. I'll see you some other time.